Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. As always, like and subscribe. Please, the subscribers, it's not going up as fast as it previously was, so would appreciate if you guys would hit that subscribe button, click the like button, share the, share the content with friends, colleagues, relatives, associates, anything in between. It's all appreciated. Couple things from the weekend maybe I want to talk about, but some stuff that's also happened over the last day or so, I should say. And yeah, couple things I'm interested to share my thoughts on. Maybe some of you might care. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first things first, I guess got to address Shakur Stevenson and what took place over the weekend, and subsequently what's kind of taking place now. It all kind of rolls into one. But he missed weight. So first things first, I got to say, that's never a good sign, and that's extremely unprofessional. You signed the contract, you agreed that you're gonna make a certain weight, you're gonna defend your belts, and then you come in over that and then don't attempt to take it off before the bout's done. Yeah, not great. Now I understand, because it's not a case of, he's say 29, 30 and it's the same weight he's been making for years. Like, he is still technically growing into his actual body. His body is still taking shape, maybe not height wise, but just in terms of mass and thickness, training, everything. So I kind of get that. But that being said, you agreed to a 130 bout and you didn't make the weight you were supposed to. Now personally, what I think should have happened is, say 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the fight, if you weren't on track to be where you normally were in that cycle, to make sure you could get that weight off, a conversation should have been had with the sanctioning bodies and with his opponent to say, look, I'm not going to be able to make this weight, so if you want, we'll pay you X amount and you can stop having to try and make weight yourself, and we can just have this as a catch weight fight or whatever, and give him that option. Or you say, well, look, I'm probably gonna have to give up these belts. If you want, you can fight, you can still try and make weight yourself, and if you beat me, you can claim the belts, but I won't have them afterwards. And then give him the choice as to whether or not he wants to still try and make weight for this fight, or maybe have another fight afterwards whereby he can get the belts, but with someone who's of the same the same impression. Because ultimately, to me, I feel like by Shakur not going as hard as he did to make the weight, then that naturally put him in a much more advantageous position than his opponent, who's obviously brought himself down to that weight, probably hasn't had the same fuel and rehydration as Shakur has. So yeah, I think that was a bit bad mind. Ultimately, you got another 150k out of it, Robson Conceição, so maybe he won't be too disheartened, but he might also feel like his opportunity to actually win that fight was taken away just by his opponent being in a natural state of advantageousness to what he did. So yeah, it wasn't great. He definitely should learn from that, and I know 135 isn't going to be his final destination either, but yeah, I feel like you definitely need to be mindful of that and be more professional. If you sign the contract, you've got to make the weight, and if you can't make the weight, you need to let the team know at least a good month in advance and see how you guys can navigate those waters afterwards. The bad side of losing the belts is he goes up to 135 now, but he won't have WBO Super Champion status, which means that he's not going to be guaranteed a mandatory slot. I mean, look, we know Bob Arum will do what he needs to do to get him into those certain positions, as he always does. You know, he's very in close, especially with the WBO. But the fact that your bargaining power of being, you know, the champion moving up to fight another champion is now null and void. You might have to go through a couple contenders first, so the road to those titles might be a little bit more difficult than what they usually were. But we'll see how that works out. It seems like Keyshawn Davis has taken up his side in the war of words on Twitter with Devin Haney, which is a bit weird because I know Shakur and Devin like are really, or seem to be really good friends. Obviously there's going to be a rivalry now that they're in the same weight division, but it's just weird how there's someone else basically within the chat, you know, taking up for the other guy. I guess maybe Keyshawn doesn't have a relationship with Devin. He's like, well, look, I'm Shakur's brethren, so I'm gonna talk on his behalf because I know he don't really want to talk to you like that, but I'm gonna talk to you. And anytime you're ready, like, we can get it on as well down the line. So that would be interesting. I know he was also talking about Richardson Hitchens as well for when Haney's ready to go up to 140. So that whole situation there is quite interesting. And yeah, I'm keen to see where it goes moving forward. But yeah, I just wanted to give my takes on that over the weekend. So just announced yesterday, Dillon White is now left Xavier Miller, and I'm assuming Harold Knight as well as that training team, or he may have kept him on, I'm not sure, but he will now be training with Buddy McGurk in California. Personally, I think this is a great move for him for the last leg of his career. And look, being realistic, Xavier's a great guy. Harold is definitely a great guy. His credentials are unquestionable, but it was always a risk with Dillon going to train with someone who you could say is a relative novice at world stage. Yeah, I'm not going to say he's a novice trainer, but at world stage, definitely a novice. In, you know, his last 3 fights, he's 1-2 in those last 3 fights, even though he's done some good work, but you know, he hasn't looked as good or as competent as he did against Mark Tibbs when he was with Mark Tibbs. So someone like Buddy McGurk, who basically just polishes off the best parts of your game, is a great choice. Like, he's not going to try and reinvent the wheel. He's not going to try and teach Dillon things he's never done before. He's literally going to look at all the stuff he does well, and he's going to get that sharp. He's going to get that as sharp as he can. So literally, Dillon will be the best version of his current self that he can be. And Buddy's got a very big track record of doing that. You see what he's doing with Callum Smith at the moment. You see how he's got Sergey Kovalev just, you know, working off the jab again, using his boxing skills rather than just trying to be this destructive force. He's a very, very good coach, and this could be a very interesting move for Dillon. I mean, obviously they have to gel together. Even Buddy McGurk did an excellent job when he was training Derek Chisora. So, you know, that in itself should lead some kind of confidence, but it's just about obviously whether Dillon adapts to it, listens, and trusts the process before his next fight. But I definitely think it's one of the better moves he could have made. And the fact that he's gone to California, again, gone away from his comfort zone, is going to be sparring different level guys, like higher caliber or hungrier guys, or guys who don't know who Dillon White is and don't care. They're just there to do their work and maybe even get one up on him in the ring. All of this stuff is what you need to stay sharp and to stay competitive. And it's the same thing I said about Anthony Joshua. Like, if your whole thing is going to be about comfort and wanting to train at Loughborough or Sheffield or Watford or what's the other one, the other gym that he was at as a young Finchley, like all of that, like, it's not gonna get any better. So it's a great move from Dillon as far as I'm concerned, and I'm very keen to see how that relationship gels and meshes moving forward. Last but not least, look, so I said to you guys a month ago it was a smoke screen, and lo and behold, I've been proved right. Tyson Fury, by his words, has collapsed a deadline for Anthony Joshua and team to sign the contract for December 3rd showdown. You know, Eddie Hearn wanted the 17th of December initially. They say, okay, well, that's about what, 14, 15 weeks after the last fight. He would have enough time for a camp. And then Tyson said, nope, I want November 26th. Eventually said December 3rd. AJ accepted. He accepted the 60-40 split. He accepted that date. Everything was there, was done. Obviously, we don't know what the language of the contract was, except for the one that Ring IQ managed to uncover. Shout outs to him. But yeah, for that you'll have to see his content. I'm not gonna take his contract. But that all being said, clearly there was stuff that needs to go on within that. Now, Eddie Hearn says they didn't get the contract for 9 days. Tyson Fury says they had the contract for 10 days before doing anything. But in between that whole time, we all know that there was the issue with, you know, the Queen passing over here. There was people flying in and out of the country doing shows, like very big shows as well, not some little minor, you know, York Hall type events. This was international stuff. So with all of that, sure, things might take a little bit longer, but ultimately, are you not training for a fight anyway? Why would it matter if it takes another 3 or 4 days outside of that for you to get the quote unquote biggest payday you're going to be able to get? Because no one Tyson Fury fights, whether it's Manuel Charr, whether it's Ajit Kabayel, or any other contender, is going to get you Anthony Joshua money. And that's just the case. Now, quite frankly, I said from the start, initially, he called him out, and it said, it's all in the wording. I can't remember it exactly because I haven't watched it in a while, but he said, before I announce my next opponent, I have to do this. Anthony Joshua, I know you come off 2 back-to-back defeats, but I'm gonna offer you a shot at the title. If you don't take it, then we'll go down the list and find someone else. But the fact he says, and I've said it time and time again, before I announce my next opponent, I have to do this. All he was doing was just using Anthony Joshua's name, associating himself to Joshua yet again to gain momentum. And everyone knows, okay, oh, well, Joshua's gonna duck this, and then that's gonna be reason for you to buy my next fight or to watch my next fight because, oh, AJ didn't want it, but at least this guy stepped up. And this is just a prelude to the undisputed fight anyway. That's all it's ever been. It's always been a tune-up situation. He's always said, I want to tune up, I want to get active. He wanted a tune-up before the second Wilder fight. He wanted to skip the third one totally and go in 2 different other directions. Went back into that Wilder fight, didn't look great because all of a sudden there was no tune-up, there was no fight in between because he wanted to fight Caballero, and they said, nope, you can't do that because you're still in the contract with us. You know, all the issues that happened with Dillon White, you said, oh, that was going to be his tune-up. That took much longer than needed. You come out of that, you retired, unretired, retired again, out of retirement once more. Obviously, out of retirement, what do? Oh, you have a tune-up fight just to shake off the cobwebs before you go into something else. It's all been the exact same plan. And it's good that a lot of the Fury fans now are even seeing this. From a guy like Simon Jordan has said that Fury's chatting nonsense right now. That tells me a lot because he's like the biggest Fury arse licker I've seen outside of Gareth A. Davis. And maybe outside of Frank Warren, but Frank has to kiss ass because that's his meal ticket right now. And I totally get that. Even Frank looks like he's not on the same page with him. He's like, well, yeah, Tyson's a bit frustrated, but we had some good meetings with the Zone on Monday. We're trying to work things out. So why is Tyson Fury all of a sudden the one piping up and causing drama? Why? Because he never wanted that fight. It's that simple. His whole ambition was to try and get AJ when he was vulnerable to turn down the fight so he could then lambast him and say, oh, you see, you're not a real champion, you're not a real man, you didn't want to fight. Then when he accepted everything, oh, okay, well, you want to fight on the 17th? No, we're going to fight on the 26th, or we're going to fight on the 3rd. Oh, we're going to fight on the 3rd now. Oh, okay. Well, the contract is a contract. Like, there's no take it or leave it. You can't adjust anything. Well, no, someone as commercially successful and monstrous as AJ is, with the deals and stuff he has in place, he needs to be able to put certain things into that contract to protect his interests. It's not about the terms of what he's going to get paid, but his commercial rights. Like, what's the pot going to be for this fight? Who's the broadcaster going to be? Will my broadcaster be involved? I have a certain agreement. Will this whole contract invalidate my current agreement? Will my sponsors be happy that I'm signing into something whereby I now have to promote something else that is outside of the contract I've signed with them? There's all these little intricacies that have to be ironed out to say, I can do this, and this within promotions, but I can't do that, and that. Are you happy to accept that? These are the draft sheets. I'm pretty sure something like that has gone on, but lo and behold, Fury finding any excuse, any loophole to jump out of it, putting a stupid deadline on something that wasn't necessary, when really all you need to do is be training for the fight. That's literally all you have to worry about. Train for the fight and get the biggest payday you're gonna get. But no, you don't do that. You still stick to the plan. Oh, he doesn't want to fight me, so I'm gonna fight Char. At least Char's a real fighting man. He'll take the fight. But on this occasion, it's backfired because everyone has seen that he's full of shit. Before, people was riding, they would try and spin the narratives. Now even the most ardent Fury fans are finding it really hard to spin that narrative. Even Shane Fury tried to find it hard. He tried to spin it last week, but even he let the cat out of the bag like ages ago, maybe by mistake. He probably wasn't meant to say what he said, but he did. He didn't try to play, oh well, yes, the other side taking long, but he admitted, well, no, he's looking for Usyk next year. He's gonna fight someone that's in my shape. He's gonna get himself in training camp, get a lot of southpaw sparring, and just train and build himself up towards that fight. So this was all about just keeping busy and keeping as a tune-up. AJ is never a tune-up fight for anybody. Like, as good as Fury thinks he is, AJ is not a tune-up for him. Joyce isn't a tune-up for him. Like, none of the top 10 are tune-ups for Tyson Fury, and that's when you understand that what he talks just makes absolutely no sense. But I'm off the situation. I'm not going to speak about it again because, as I said before, I knew it was bullshit from the start. The videos are there. You can go back to them. You can see them, and yeah, we'll leave it there. But right now, I've got some work to do. Got gym to attend after that, so without saying too much more, there may be another video later on today. But thank you for watching. Please again, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Hardcore Casual out.